All right, everybody. I am here with Arthur Cummins from the Real Food Academy. Thanks, Arthur. How are you?
Thanks, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Arthur and I kind of have a similar path in my franchise ownership and kind of how he started building his franchise. And so we've actually been talking a little bit already. So I wanted to get you more information. I mean, first thing, I just have to call you out and say you've been great to work with. I have sent some people over to you and you've been really responsive, great with notes, taking into account my candidates and saying, okay, I think this might be a good fit, right? So thank you for that. So, all
Thank you.
right, so tell everybody, what is Real Food Academy? What do you do?
Real Food Academy is, we do a lot of different things. Some people call it culinary entertainment, and it's definitely
Okay.
culinary entertainment plus health and wellness. We do cooking classes for kids and we do cooking classes for adults. We do birthday parties for kids and culinary parties for adults, including team building events. That would be like a B2B component where companies come to us to do a team building. Our differentiator, what makes us different, is that we're not just doing a cooking class, but we're trying to teach people how to choose the right ingredients to help them become more healthy and live longer and feel better. In this country, we eat what's called the standard American diet, or
Uh-oh.
better known as the SAD diet, right? So people don't know how to eat, right? And chronic disease is a big problem today. And this is what we're trying to, change. Teach people how to get on track with their eating habits.
That's awesome. Tell everybody how you got into this. I mean, I think it's a good story.
Yeah, so in 2008, I don't know if you remember 2008, you may be too young, but it was it was a pretty bad
No, I know.
the financial and real estate markets, everything just crashed, right? At the time I was in financial planning and my pipeline disappeared overnight, and we were in a pretty bad situation, Maria and I. And so while we were just sorting things out in 2008, Maria was invited to do a cooking class in a Montessori school. And so because we were both so into nutrition and health and wellness, for Maria to do a cooking class, it wasn't just to show them how to do cupcakes or pizza or pasta or something like that. It was just part of her nature to show kids how to eat healthy. Right? So if the kids wanted to eat potato chips, if the kid walked in with a bag of Wise potato chips, Maria would say, give me those potato chips. Let me show you how to make real potato chips that are containing, potatoes, olive oil, and sea salt. From the very beginning, it was teaching kids the dangers of ultra processed food. That's part of it. We don't just teach kids to cook. We teach them to stay away from ultra processed food and the dangers of it. So that was part of the curriculum from the very first day. The moms would come in and ask Maria, like, what are you teaching my kid? How did you get my kid to my kid took the cereal out of the cart in the supermarket and put it back on the shelf because Chef Maria said it's not good for us to eat. So
I love it.
So this is how it all kind of came together. So Maria started to get a lot of attention. A teacher from another school would come in and say, hey, would you come to my school and do a cooking class for my kids? So it literally started in a very organic way like that. In the very early days, the first 12 months or so, I had no involvement whatsoever. Sure. I would obviously speak with her and I would, encourage her and coach her to keep doing what you're doing. We didn't have a place of our own. So she was running all over town, in her vehicle. And then in 2010, we got our own place. And when we got our own place, we were able to add more programs like the summer camp program, winter camp. We started to scale, and then she eventually convinced me to, get involved. And I had no culinary experience, but I helped her to scale it. I brought more of the sales and marketing and sensibility to the business. And from there, we outgrew that space pretty quickly. We had 1,100 square foot space. And about 3 years in, we were turning away a lot of business. And then in 2017, we moved into our current space, which is 5,500 square feet. With the exception of COVID, sales have been increasing every single year. It's just an incredible, wonderful business.
So for your franchisees, let's talk about the square footage quick. So what are you asking them to start with?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, we don't recommend 5,500 square feet. It just so happens that the very first place that we looked at, we just fell in love with.
Okay.
But what we're recommending to our franchisees are 2,400 to 2,800 square feet.
Okay.
The way we landed on that number is in a couple different ways. First of all, the location we are in now is about 2,500 square feet on the first floor.
Okay.
We normally only use the first floor. We don't even use the second floor, number one. And then we also realized that in our first location, we were turning away a lot of bigger groups, like 35 to 40 people. We couldn't accommodate them. So
Okay.
24 to 2,800 square feet will allow people to not have to pay any more rent than they have to pay, but also be able to accommodate
Those big
larger
groups.
groups without turning them away.
That's awesome. Talk a little bit about the adult part of it, the team building of that. I think that sounds like something I haven't seen. And that's where I think where one of these podcasts is going to sit is going to be, wow, that's a franchise, right? Like I don't think I've seen a lot in this space. So I'm excited, especially for the adult component.
Yeah, so it's funny. So I didn't mention that when we started the company, we were called Cooking with Kids Miami.
Okay.
And just like everything else in our company, everything happened in a very organic, unintentional kind of a way. The parents of the kids were saying, hey, when are you going to do a cooking class for us? We want to do a class. And they were literally like bugging Maria, saying, we want to do a party, or the mom is having her 30th, birthday party. Hey, I want to do my party here. So eventually we said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So that's we changed the name from Cooking with Kids Miami to the Real Food Academy. So it happened in a very organic way. So the team building part of the business came because businesses wanted to do their team building activity with us, and then culinary events for any other occasion. It could be a girls' night out, it could be family reunion, birthday party for an adult, whatever the occasion is.
Got it. And so because you're a new franchise, I think one of the questions that we'll usually get, so would you allow someone to come in as long as the recipes were healthy or made with real food? Would you allow them to possibly share some of their recipes that they grew up with?
100%. So I think that's probably one of the benefits to getting into a franchise system early, right? They're going to be able to have more say in what we do and how we do it. So yes, absolutely. If there's a family recipe, of course, as long as it's consistent with our brand, it would have to.
Right. Yeah. We're not necessarily going to make, high sugar cookies with
100%. Yes.
bad things. Okay. Got it.
Yeah,
So I think that's just interesting.
That.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because some won't. There's other cooking schools out there that say, no, you have to follow, our program. And I get that. It's a franchise for those of you that are out there. Arthur gets to make the rules because he's the franchisor. But I think it's nice sometimes when you're small enough to say, no, like, what do you bring to the table? And let's put this thing together. So
we actually have it built into our operations manual. There's a section for like suggestions, new recipes and things like that. Of course it would be vetted, but yeah,
well, sure. And I don't think I would want that pressure, right? For someone that would be interested in a cooking school, I would think it would be kind of neat to say, this is my grandma's whatever, right?
Yeah, we also recognize in different parts of the country, they're going to be different. Like we're in Miami, right? There's a heavy Latin influence. So if you're in the Midwest or something like that, there are going to be people that are going to be more attracted to certain cuisines, right?
Right. So do people sign up for a class as a unit, or do they sign up for like a 3 or 4 weeks of classes to kind of build a menu?
Yeah, they're individual classes. So every Thursday night we could do pasta on one night, Asian on the other night, Korean on the, so the cuisines are changing from one week to the next. And so people will sign up for whatever classes they're interested in.
That's awesome. How exciting. So talk a little bit just about, I know we talked about some of the square footage, but give us some of the boring basic stuff. Investment, how your item 19 looks, things like that. Don't have to get too much into it because we can always help people with that, but I like to keep these conversations a little bit more conversational.
In 24, our top line revenue was 1.3 million, and
1.3 million, guys. Cooking school, that's cool.
The net income after all of the expenses was 270,000.
Wow, nice.
And that's as a semi-absentee. So that's with Maria and I not working in the business, but working as a semi-absentee.
Okay, so you can have that ownership model. Someone can come in by semi-absentee. Does not mean investor, guys. It doesn't mean you're going to write a check and just wait for the money to come in, but you don't necessarily need to be the one teaching the classes and doing all the marketing. You guys can teach them how to do this and not be tied to the kitchen. Wow, great example for someone that would want food, but not necessarily a restaurant, and the opportunity to have a little flair there. Where does the marketing, where do the customers come from in this, Arthur? Is it a lot of knocking on doors, cold calling?
It's a great question. So sometimes when I talk about this, it sounds like kind of too good to be true, but it happens to be exactly the way way it works. So if somebody opens, we do a great grand opening, of course, right? And
Right.
if you do one birthday party and you do it well, and they will, because we'll be with them and make sure it goes well. If you have 20 or 25 kids at a birthday party, and it's a kind of birthday party that they've never been to before, and they have the time of their life, well, where do you think the other 24 kids from that birthday party want to do their birthday party? All of the parents who are at that party, where do you think that mom wants to celebrate her 30th birthday party, or the business person who wants to do their team building? There's an enormous amount of cross-selling that goes on. Sometimes when I talk about this, I don't want to make it sound like it's like magic, because it's not. But if we get your franchisee off on the right foot, and we will, the business is going to come. We do very little advertising. We advertise for our summer camp because there's a lot of money in the summer camp program. So we want to make sure it's always maxed out. We want to, and we always sell out our summer camp, but we do very little advertising for any of our other programs. Our birthday parties, we do 2 kids' birthday parties on Saturday and 2 on Sunday, and those are sold out almost year round.
Okay.
We don't have any slow months. The business changes. Right now we're in the summertime. We have our summer camp. We have field trips. We're going to other summer camps, and we're doing our field trip program, our birthday parties. So we're kind of firing on all cylinders almost throughout the year. It changes. Like, obviously we're not doing summer camp in the wintertime, but we're doing winter camp.
Right. I'm sure you have Christmas vacation opportunities and just different camps for these kids, right?
Yeah.
And I personally love the adult component of it. I mean, I know that's something I would love to get into with your kids headed for college, right? Okay, let's go learn how to do this healthy so you don't get that freshman 15 and all that, right? That's not a lifestyle type business. I mean, this is a lifestyle business, but that's not a lifestyle business income. That item 19 is nothing to blink at. Nice job. Very good. So looking right now, as far as expansion across the country, trying to stay in the southern states, Florida, Georgia, over into Texas.
That would be ideal. The closer to, our home base, the better. But wherever we have our initial franchisees, we will be there, one way or the other. It's not they're not going to get less service, whether they're further or closer.
Got it. What does training look like?
We have a really robust built out training module. We use Trainual. I don't know if you're familiar with Trainual, but it's an online platform where we've uploaded all kinds of video content, all of our scripts, our processes, everything is super well documented. I think I mentioned to you before we started recording that about 10 years ago, when Maria and we wanted to have the freedom to travel. If we want to go to Europe for a month or whatever, we wanted to build those processes. This is long before we even thought about franchising. So we've been building these processes for quite a long time. And so then when we decided to franchise, we realized, wow, we already built a lot of this already. Right. And so we know that everything that we need to, get somebody up and running it's already there. And so not only do we have the initial training, but we'll have ongoing training.
Right.
We also recognize if somebody opens, they may not have certain scenarios, until 6 months down the road, right? They may book a team building event of 30 or 40 people, and they may choose the Indian cuisine. Well, maybe they never did the Indian cuisine before. So we're anticipating all of those kind of one-offs, and we'll be available doing these one-on-one trainings every week in and week out, like live trainings for whatever comes up for the franchisee.
That's awesome. And so talk a little bit about the labor model, because you said it was semi-absent. So I'm assuming as an owner, I'm not teaching all the cooking classes, which you would not want, but.
So it depends on the person, right? If somebody comes with a culinary background, if they're coming out of the restaurant or food business, they will probably want to roll up their sleeves and be hands-on. If you don't have any kind of a culinary background, you'd probably want to hire somebody who does. Because at the end of the day, we're working with food and we're teaching classes. If you're working with the kids, it requires less skill, right? Obviously, it's a little more simple. If you're teaching an adult cooking class, you have to be a little bit more advanced in your training. But no one in my company has any formal culinary training, including my wife, Maria. She's self-taught. It can be semi-absentee, but we recommend that people would get started as an owner-operator to learn the business. And then like Maria and I did, once we learned the business, we kind of worked out of the business, worked our way more into the semi-absentee. For the people you're working with that are purpose-driven, like they really want to make a difference in this world or in their community before we leave this earth. This is why Maria and I are franchising. We are certainly not doing it for the money. I'm 63 years old. So we're not doing it for the money. We're doing it because we have seen what we have done in our community. We have gotten kids off of processed food, how we're really making a difference. I mean, this is our North Star early on when things were really difficult and we didn't, know what we were doing. Just the fact that we were doing something so positive, we were bringing so much joy to people. It's a really joyful business to be in. So if you have people that really want to make a difference, I would say take a look at the Real Food Academy for sure.
All right, very good. Well, everybody, if you have any questions, please reach out. You can always reach out to me, carrier pigeon, email, text. I'm everywhere. I can connect you, get you to the front of the line with Arthur. We were actually talking a little bit about helping him get some of these early franchisees, and so we might have some ideas for you there as well. So please reach out. Thank you so much, Arthur. I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you for watching. If you're ready to take the next step, Integrity Franchise Group is here to help. Click the link below or reach out to us today to schedule an appointment. Let's work together to solve that franchise puzzle and turn your business dreams into reality. We cannot wait to connect with you.